This is a quick video on the use of the EtherNet IP library from Rossman Engineering that can be downloaded from their website. It's pretty easy to use, and I wanted to demonstrate using that with a Java and an Automation Direct P1550 PLC. They've got great examples on their webpage, but they're using a Wago or Allen Bradley controllers. So again, thanks to Rossman Engineering for providing the library. It's fairly easy to use. First, I'll go into the setup of the PLC. So, as I said, I've got a P1550 from Automation Direct. First thing we need to do is double-click Ethernet IP adapter, check that box, enter a data array. And for this, the maximum size you can have is 100. And for this example, I used the same array in the input instance 65 and the output instance 66. You don't have to do that, and I would probably say that the majority of time it won't be like this, but this also works. So when we write to this input, we're going to write to 66 and we're going to read from 65. Though we can also read from 66, we just can't write to 65. And I'll demonstrate that. So, right now we've got -1s filling the data array. Let's jump over here to the program. So add the jar file to your library, right click add jar file and browse to whatever folder you downloaded the jar to. Again, I'm using NetBeans 12.5 and JDK 17. So I've imported the exception class, and really there's only a few lines of code needed to make this work. I'm going to change this back to 00 to set the data to zeros. The compiler is going to scream at me for a pointless bitwise expression. Okay, I know that. So eeip client register, we need that line of code. We need to create a data array to send, and it has to be byte data, unfortunately. So eeip.getAssembly, set instance, and again we're writing to instance 66, which is the output, and reading from the input. So we've just written 100 integers to the PLC, and as you can see, it's updated. So we can change the data here to FF and see that we've written a -1 to the data. And we've got no exceptions. So if we try to write to 65, and I'll change this back to 0, you can see that we get a CIP exception, so you can't write to the input. It's going to work this time, and we've written zeros. We'll do something different and write the other 2 bytes of data. So now we get a 255. And as you can see, it's 255. We can flip-flop, make it a not equals. Oops. Write the opposite 2 bytes, we get a -256, -256. So that about does it. And not much work at all. You can read and write data to a productivity P1550 using Ethernet IP explicit messaging. You can use up to 4 blocks. I've only got 1 in this example. And that's about it. Thanks.